dumbest thing someone said while being 100% serious. So I started rock climbing about 6 months ago because my therapist was like, you need a hobby that isn't just scrolling TikTok until 3 a.m. And honestly, she was right. Anyway, I've been going to this indoor climbing gym pretty regularly, and I'm still very much a beginner, but I'm getting better. Last week I'm there doing my thing, and this guy, let's call him Marcus, who I've seen around a few times, comes over while I'm chalking up my hands. He starts making small talk, which, whatever, I'm not super social at the gym, but he seemed nice enough. Marcus asks if I'm new to climbing, and I tell him yeah, about 6 months in. He nods all knowingly and goes, I've been climbing for 3 years, I could give you some pointers if you want. I wasn't really looking for help, but I figured why not? Maybe I could learn something. So we're climbing side by side on these beginner routes, and he's talking the entire time about how he's basically a semi-pro, and how he almost made it onto this competitive team, but had to turn it down because of his incredibly demanding schedule. Red flags were starting to pop up, but I was trying to be nice. Then we take a water break, and he asks where I'm from originally. I tell him I grew up in Minnesota, but moved here for college and stayed. And he gets this super excited look on his face and goes, oh my god, I love Minnesota, the beaches there are amazing. I literally just stared at him. For those who don't know, Minnesota is landlocked. Like, completely. We have lakes, sure, but we're not exactly known for our beaches. So I figured maybe he was confused and meant Michigan or something. I gently correct him like, I think you might be mixing it up with another state. Minnesota is landlocked, we don't really have beaches in the traditional sense. This man looks at me like I'm the idiot and says, no, I've definitely been to Minnesota. It's right next to California, right? I went to those famous beaches there. At this point, I'm thinking this has to be a joke. So I pull out my phone and show him a map. He looks genuinely confused and goes, huh, they must have changed the map recently. Changed the map recently. I couldn't even respond to that one. But it gets better. As we're getting ready to climb again, he notices my water bottle has one of those little reminder marks for how much water you should drink throughout the day. He points at it and goes, you know, drinking water is actually bad for you. I ask what he means, thinking maybe he's talking about something specific like drinking too much water too quickly or something. The government puts chemicals in water to control our thoughts. That's why I only drink Mountain Dew and milk. I'm trying so hard not to laugh at this point. I just nod and say, interesting theory, and focus on my climbing. But he keeps going. Throughout the next hour, this man tells me with complete confidence that dinosaurs weren't real and were invented by museums to make money, that he doesn't need to wear deodorant because his natural musk attracts the right kind of women. I was literally climbing upwind from him after that comment. But the absolute pinnacle, the statement that had me excusing myself to the bathroom so I could laugh until I cried, was when we were discussing birthdays. I mentioned mine was coming up, and he asked what sign I was. I said Taurus, and he nodded very seriously and said, I'm a Gemini, which means I'm basically two people. That's why sometimes I wake up and don't recognize myself in the mirror. It's my other personality taking over. My doctor says it's just morning grogginess, but he doesn't understand astrology like I do. I literally had to bite my tongue to keep from losing it. When I was leaving, he asked for my number. When I politely declined, he looked genuinely confused and said, but I just taught you so much about the world? Yes. Yes, you did, Marcus. You taught me that some people can function in society while believing the map of the United States was recently redesigned and that the moon has an on-off switch.